Tonight on CTV News, learn what steps Colorado will take to slow the spread of COVID over Thanksgiving.
Then, find out what spring semester will look like at CSU and the latest updates on the Hughes Stadium lot. All that and more on CTV News, starting now.
Good evening, Rams. I'm Sophia Ridley.
And I'm Kenneth Frederick. Thank you for joining us tonight for our last Thursday night news show of the semester.
With Thanksgiving break starting this weekend, Colorado is taking steps to slow the increase of COVID cases. 15 counties across Colorado will be operating at the highest risk level before stay-at-home orders are applied. Some of these counties include Arapahoe, Boulder, and Denver. In Boulder County alone, more than 200 cases were added on Tuesday, bringing their total to 8,910 cases. CU Boulder moved all classes to online on Monday and have had 1,479 positive on-campus cases. With the rise in cases across the state, some Colorado State University students have mixed feelings about these new restrictions.
Honestly, I hate the restrictions. It's too much for me. Humans are social creatures, and being locked down for this much time is just too much for me.
I feel like it's necessary if everyone's not gonna follow the rules and go along with it. I think it needs to happen.
With Larimer County staying at level 2 restrictions, CSU has been able to remain open for on-campus classes. With more than 43,000 saliva screenings and nasal swabs, only 582 CSU students and staff have tested positive for COVID.
I have appreciated just staying in person as much as we can and not having to go online. I have some friends at Boulder and most of their classes are all online, and I have no idea what I would do. So I'm just very grateful that even though I have 2 classes in person, I'm so grateful.
CSU's campus was able to remain open the majority of the semester, and as planned, classes will transition to all online after fall break until the end of the semester. Let's hope these new restrictions slow the spread of the virus and keep Colorado residents safe.
With containment of the Cameron Peak fire over 90% as of Monday, the city of Fort Collins has taken down its outdoor fire restrictions. Campfires, fire pits, and charcoal grills are back on the table for city residents who have been hoping for their outdoor fire activities once again. The lifting of the fire ban is only for those inside the city limits and not outside, meaning that fires at places like Horsetooth Reservoir are still off limits. Anyone who believes that their neighbor's fire smoke is a nuisance can also report the fires to the city if they aren't 15 feet away from property lines or extinguished by 10 at night.
Governor Polis is now tasked with appointing one nominee for the position of District Court Judge. The 8th Judicial Nominating Commission has 3 candidates to replace Chief Judge Stephen Howard, who will retire January 12, 2021. The nominees are Matthew Zahe from Fort Collins, Sarah Cure, and Joseph Finley from Loveland. He has 15 days to make his final decision on who will fill this seat.
Anyone who's ever tried to find a place to live near downtown knows that the word expensive might be an understatement. According to Zillow, prices around Old Town can go anywhere from $400,000 to over $1 million plus dollars. That may change with new housing development project Oak 140, an affordable housing project starting in downtown Fort Collins. The construction is planned for the corner of Oak Street and Remington. A little under 80 units are expected to be built by the spring of 2022. There are specific income level qualifications to live in the apartments, with units for specific levels of income required. The units are meant for people who make anywhere from 30 to 80% of the average market income of about $65,000.
Thanksgiving is next week, and Larimer County officials are urging people to not gather in person for this holiday week. With almost 1,000 new cases in Larimer County this last week, county officials are making a case to cancel Thanksgiving plans that include people outside of your household. Due to increased traveling during this holiday week, Colorado State University has planned since the beginning of the semester to transition all classes on campus to completely online for the remainder of the semester, starting this next week. CU Boulder has even canceled spring break for next semester to prevent additional traveling. I know my family is going to have Thanksgiving outside, and it's a small group just so that we keep it a close circle.
Yeah, I'm actually only having mine with my immediate family. I think it'll just be my dad and my brother this year.
Yep, keep it small.
Well, stick around after the break to hear Yanae Moran tell us what to expect for the weather this upcoming week.
Welcome back from the break, Rams. We have more news stories for you, so let's dive right in.
Many Rams will be leaving campus for the remainder of the semester after the last day of in-person classes on Friday. With fall break coming up, many Rams will be relaxing and preparing for what's going to come next. But that raises the question, what will the new year look like?
From a scheduling point of view, not much will change with the 2021 spring semester. CSU will still start classes on January 19th, and finals will be May 10th through the 14th. However, spring break has been pushed back to April 12th and looks a little more like our fall break. After time off in the spring, the last 3 weeks before finals will be all online, much like the current semester. This is a change that many students don't seem very fazed by.
I really don't mind it all that much. It doesn't make that much of a difference to me. I guess it is kind of nice to have that break a little bit earlier in the semester, kind of get a midway break instead of after like the third exam, but I'm fine with it.
Students in the ASCSU also had a chance to share their opinions last night on the coming semester. Mary Peterson, CSU's executive vice president, along with the chairs of the pandemic preparedness team, met to discuss with members of the ASCSU in order to answer questions about what the team had been doing this year and were planning for next semester. Peterson said that with saliva testing, CSU had reached record numbers of tests. But in 2021, they hope to double that number to nearly 3,000 tests a day. She also talked about how around 2/3 of classes will be in-person or hybrid, and even a larger percent of Gen Ed courses would be available for people to take at home through an expansion of classrooms with Echo 360.
And they are going to be outfitting a few more of the general purpose classrooms, and by spring semester, we will have 80 to 85% of all of the general purpose classrooms will be outfitted with the Echo 360.
Colorado State University is working closely with the pandemic preparedness team to keep students safe while continuing to provide a quality education during these uncertain times.
CTV will keep you updated on all the news surrounding the upcoming semester. However, if you're interested in knowing more about CSU's plan, visit catalog.colostate.edu.
Last Christmas season, Denver debuted the Mile High Tree. And although many things have changed since then, this is looking like a new family tradition for families here in Colorado, as it makes its second showing this year. But don't let the name fool you. This tree isn't a regular tree. It's the largest installation of its kind in North America. It's a 110-foot-tall digitized Christmas tree created by Ilmix Illumination, a globally renowned lighting production company from Spain that uses pixel mapping technology. The tree can fit 140 people under it for an immersive experience with festive songs and lights. It will be open to the public with free admission starting November 20th and is located at 16th Street, downtown Denver. COVID restrictions are in place, so for more information about how to stay safe, parking, and music shows, visit denver.org/milehighholidays/tree. I think it's really cool that we have like a big digitized tree. It's kind of eco-friendly. We're not cutting down any real trees.
Yeah, I'll be looking forward to seeing it in December, but until then, we've got time for Thanksgiving, and Christmas comes in December.
You're right.
Kids around the world haven't had to guess about Santa's location on Christmas and Christmas Eve ever since NORAD started tracking him in 1955. With COVID, there's been fears that the Air Force wouldn't be able to continue this tradition of updating children on Santa's whereabouts. But even if the call center's been drastically cut down this year, there'll still be some volunteers on the phones starting December 24th. If you can't get a hold of one of the volunteers, a pre-recorded message has been made to update callers in their place. Starting on Christmas Eve, if you would like to stay up to date on Santa's location, you can find it on noradsanta.org.
I usually watch where Santa is on the news. I've been doing that since I was a kid. I always beg my parents every year to let me watch, so I'm excited to do it again this year.
You know, I was actually reading last night that you can actually ask your Alexa where Santa is on Christmas Eve. I'm looking forward to trying that one out.
Look at that. What has been a traditionally southwestern restaurant chain has now come up north here to Colorado. In-N-Out will be opening 2 restaurants in both Aurora and Colorado Springs tomorrow. Both restaurants have drive-thru and dine-in, although indoor dining areas are currently unavailable due to COVID restrictions. But don't worry, Fort Collins. This California-based burger joint is looking at 3 other locations to open up restaurants, including Lone Tree, Lakewood, and Fort Collins. In-N-Out is open daily from 10 in the morning until 1, and on weekends it closes at 1:30 in the morning.
At the end of last month, we updated you on CSU deciding to split away from the city to privately develop the land on the Hughes Stadium property. The group called the Planning Action to Transform Hughes Sustainably, or PATHS for short, has gathered enough signatures to put forward a ballot measure in April of next year. The measure would be for the city to try and buy the Hughes area and keep it all open space. According to the Coloradoan, CSU is still planning on going forward with its development with Lennar Homes no matter what happens in April. The city made an offer of $7.2 million last year for the area, but were beat out by Lennar with a $10 million deal. City manager Darren Attenbury stood by his offer of $7.2 million, saying that it was a fair price for the land as it is now.
Thank you all so much for watching the last Thursday news segment for this semester.
But don't go anywhere, because after the break we have Litos Castro giving you the latest with the sports update.